Hey everybody, it's James at FuzzBeard Pedals. It's nice to be back after a little hiatus from the YouTube videos. I've been busy building pedals and doing a little R&D on some new stuff as well, but it's great to be back, and we've got a little video today to show you a brand new take on an old design, the FuzzBeard Industries Tuskano. The Tuskano is based on the classic Proco Rat distortion pedal, which if you've been playing guitar or building pedals for any amount of time, it's one I'm sure you've come across. Now, the Rat itself is a great pedal, but it isn't without its issues. One of the main things for me is there's way too much treble on it, not enough low end, and there certainly isn't enough distortion sort of like lower down in the low mids, certainly not for my liking anyway. So with that in mind, I've made a few changes to the original Rat design. So the first of those changes was to allow more low end into the circuit and give it a bit more beef in the low mids where the distortion's concerned as well. It gives it a nice kind of squelchy, almost like a bit of a fuzz facey kind of tone in certain settings. After that, I went back and smoothed off the high end a little bit, because as some of you know, when you're playing the Rat with the tone control wide open, it does get a little bit out of control in the high end. It can just be a little bit too much sizzle there. It just gets a little bit unnecessary. So whilst trying to maintain a good amount of bite in the high end still, I've just taken the edge off it a little bit. So after that, I changed out the stock silicon clipping diodes for a pair of red LEDs to try and emulate the sound of a turbo Rat a little more, and that in combination with the other changes to the low end and sort of low mids and the distortion kind of gives you a much louder, richer, more saturated sound, almost kind of verging into fuzz territory a little more than the just straight ahead all out distortion that the Rat's known for. And the final change that I made was to add a fourth control in addition to the volume, tone and distortion controls that you have on your standard Rat. So that fourth control is basically just a fine tune control that works in conjunction with the tone control. So you would use the tone to set your ballpark high-end settings, and then you would use the fine-tune control to really just sort of zero in on that exact amount of high-end that you want. Alright, so now I've spent a few minutes talking about it, it's time to give you a look at it. Now this one is it's a custom unit. It was designed specially for the guitarist from Master Charger. If you don't know them, go check them out on Bandcamp. Great guys, great band. He approached me a little while ago asking if I could build him something to replace an old fuzz pedal of his that had died some time back, and we figured the Tuskano was going to be a good fit for his board. So he had a few ideas in mind for how it was going to look. So we ended up just doing a completely custom job for it essentially. So now it's time for me to small myself down into a little box, nip off into one of these two corners here, and give you guys a look at this pedal. Let's go. So here it is, the first and only FuzzBeard Minotaur Tuskano. As I said, this is a custom design, so there's only going to be one of these made. The future Tuskanos will sound the same or very similar, but they will have some different graphics and probably some different paintwork as well. This is a custom build for John out of Master Charger, and he came to me with a few ideas on for the aesthetics and the labelling and that sort of stuff. So the first thing that he had in mind, he really wanted to have something to kind of it's something that was inspired a little bit by one of the old Big Muffs, so we went for an oversized enclosure that I then painted with some green sparkle. That is then covered over with the graphic, which was done on a water slide decal, and then just clear coat over the top of it to sort of protect the paint and keep everything ship shape. First thing you're probably going to notice when looking at this pedal is the Minotaur graphic. I believe that ties in with some of Master Charger's artwork somewhere along the line. Now, John's also quite into his vintage amps, so I managed to track down some of these little miniature Sims Watt style amp knobs to go over the pots. And one of the other things that we've done, which is something I've not done at FuzzBeard before, is to drill some eye holes through the eyes on the graphic and then mount some LEDs in the eye holes so that they act as status indicators as well as when they're lit up, making the whole thing look like mean. So you'll see what I mean in a minute. I'm going to pop a picture up in a second. You'll get to check it out. There you go. Have a look at that. That's pretty sweet, huh? Anyway, right, back to it. So John had his own ideas about what he wanted the controls to be named. Normally on your standard Tuskano you would have clockwise from top left, it'd be volume, gain, tone and fine tune. However, you can see here that instead of those, we've got grunt, grind, girth, and grime. So I think I've done enough talking about it now. Let's get on and show you how it sounds. So that's the Minotaur Tuskano. Hope you liked it, hope you liked how it looked, hope you liked how it sounded. If you want to get one, then give me a shout. I'm going to be redesigning the boards to make them just a little bit smaller, a little bit more well laid out. I should have those on me in probably 2 or 3 weeks from the time I'm filming this video. So if you are interested, give me a shout and I will put you on the list. Thanks for dropping by.